The call's to my right. The member for Bass has the call.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. And my question is to the Minister for Resources, Energy and Northern Australia. Will the Minister update the House on the government's commitment to lower electricity prices to promote jobs and growth, including in Australia's manufacturing? Is the Minister aware of any alternatives to this approach?
The Minister for Resources.
Well, thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for Bass for his question and acknowledge that he's a fierce advocate for jobs and growth in his electorate, particularly in the manufacturing sector. Now, Mr Speaker,
on my left.
Now, when it comes to electricity prices, the Coalition has not only talked about lower electricity prices, it's actually delivered them. And after Labor's time in office, electricity prices went up around 80%. The Coalition came in and they got rid of Labor's carbon tax, and we saw electricity prices fall for the first time in a decade, and the largest ever single amount. And we've also reined in network spending, and network spending is important because it can make up some 50% of household electricity bills. And I'm asked, Mr Speaker, am I aware of any alternative approaches? Well, we're aware of the alternative approach from the Labor Party, because it's to bring in the rehashed, rebooted, reheated Carbon Tax 2.0, Mr Speaker. Carbon Tax 2.0, and we know how successful it was the first time. And I have to confess, Mr Speaker, after it crashed at the box office last time, we're so surprised to see the sequel here so soon. And as the Minister for the Environment outlined, Labor's own modelling on their carbon tax showed that wholesale electricity prices will increase by 78%, that activity in the construction sector will be down 11%, and that, importantly, activity in the aluminium sector will be down 46%. And why that is important is because Bell Bay Aluminium is in the member for Bass's electorate, and it employs nearly 500 people directly and around 1,000 people indirectly. So what does the Labor Party say to those workers, to the welders, to the painters, to the truck drivers? Now, Mr Speaker, Prime Minister, the Leader of the Opposition went on John Fain, and John Fain said to him, "You'd have to say that the carbon tax makes things harder for Australian manufacturing." Bill Shorten's answer: "It's never hard."
The Minister will refer to members by their correct titles.
Mr Speaker, it's never hard for the Leader of the Opposition because he's never run a business. He's never employed someone. He's never put his own capital at risk. And that's why it's never hard to see an increase in electricity prices. So, Mr Speaker, under the Coalition, electricity prices are lower. Under the Coalition, jobs are safer. Under the Labor Party, with their reheated, rehashed, rebooted Carbon Tax 2.0, electricity prices will increase dramatically and jobs will be lost.